everyone to the Third Kingdom Counsel. Tonight we're going to talk about celebrities in the Black community. Should they speak for us? Moreover, should white celebrities have the room to speak up on things concerning our community? I recently read an article in the Washington Post that said while it's good that celebrities can use their wealth, visibility, and influence to draw public attention to Black issues, it can also provide a skewed view of said issues. I just want to know, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
It can definitely present a skewed view just because so many people are influenced by celebrities and their opinion and their position on certain issues. I definitely think it can be skewed and people can kind of just go with what the masses are saying, go with what influencers are saying because they're the people with the most pull.
Yeah, definitely. I know back, I don't know how long ago this was, like maybe 2010, when Bill Cosby was going on these college tours and giving like talks about, you know, how the Black community has to get themselves together. And a lot of people didn't take very kindly to that. And, you know, fast forward to now and we see like, even he apparently wasn't, you know, practicing what he preached. Like, how do y'all feel about, you know, kind of like the double standard that might come about? I mean,
double standard,
some people might say that that's a double standard. What do you?
I look at it from a standpoint of, I don't think it's necessarily a double standard.
I think it froze.
I think what we fail to realize is that, for instance, you have somebody who does, you know, child abuse, right? But does that mean they're not good with the little nieces and nephews that they have in their family? You know what I'm saying? Like people can be both. People can be, you know, a speaker in one context and be speaking truth. Because remember, even the Most High says sometimes you know, the devil's going to speak truth to us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that even these quote unquote bad people can actually speak some truth. And sometimes we have to be willing to take it. And just because they're bad don't mean that everything they say is bad.
This is true. That brings up like a thought about how Tupac can be polarizing. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be, you know,
good example.
Okay, touching on what Charlotte, is someone there? I'm kind of, am I froze? Yeah, what you mentioned earlier about the Washington Post. Funny enough, on the bar stool, they were mentioning her name is, forgive my speech, everybody out there who loves The Office. Forgive me. It's a lot of people out there who love The Office. Her name is something. She sits at the front desk and she was Jim's wife or whatever. But basically, she's a Hollywood star, of course, and comes to find out, a story broke out that she was a part of this cabal that started off in the, let's say, near 40s or 50s, let's say well before the KKK. But it was leaked that she's a part of the KKK because their cabal had attachments to the KKK. I touch on this because you mentioned the Washington Post about white and Black celebrities and herself being a Caucasian celebrity. And especially what she had to mention and came openly to say about marriage and so forth was pretty interesting. That being leaked, it just goes to expose, like, it is a lot of exposés out there and you know who to cancel. Like, you know, we just got to watch out for them.
I think I liked what Jamel said when he said, you know, people could still be speaking truth. And that's very true. And that's why the Most High has given all of us discernment in that, because a lot of celebrities out here, they do speak the truth. And that's the crazy thing. They're not telling you any lies. It's just whether you know which side do you fall on.
Yeah.
Like most times they are speaking that real. You just have to be able to identify, okay, how is this going to affect me? Which side am I on? Yeah, they're speaking real. This is really what they're talking about. I'm able to read between the lines because of the discernment he's given me. And so I think that was a good valid point too.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, we got to look at it from the standpoint of you got a lot of these Sunday teachers who are out here, and they're, excuse my language, but like half-assing the truth. And so we have to, as Deja pointed out, we have to discern what is truth and what is fabricated or what is just, rhetoric. And at that point, we take in what's good for us, and the rest of it we just leave on the plate. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I agree with that.
It's a guy you mentioning false prophets. There's a guy, and I think his name on Instagram is actually False Prophets, and he exposes, huh?
I said, wow.
I know.
Yeah,
That's his name.
And he exposes a lot of our Black quote unquote celebrities who we may feel are our celebrities. And I'm gonna rush off a quick couple of names on here just to kind of get the floor going a little bit. I'm sure y'all probably heard of some of them. So for one, his name is Jay Morrison, the tax guy. We have another called, her name is, we all have heard of her. She is, well, I don't know if she stepped down, but she's the assistant to the Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh, yeah.
And she was featured on the Breakfast Club as well. Her name is, thank you for bearing with me. One moment. I'll rush over her name. I don't have her name here, but I do still have another guy's name. His name is Myson.
Yeah, my son. Okay.
Myson, the general.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he runs like an organization. And I should have had all my notes together here, but he runs an organization basically kind of campaigning for quote unquote Black Lives Matters. And basically he was exposed saying like, okay, these false prophets are basically steering a lot of our movements left. A lot of them, just a lot of them left, and just being able to know like, when are we being steered left? When are we being fed propaganda and just being fed lies and BS? So good point, Jamel.
If you don't mind me interjecting, I think a big reason why a lot of these quote unquote speakers of like the Black community, the reason why they end up going left is because there's something going on that we have to be able to discern. And that's, we as a community are grounded in the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. What they're grounded in or rooted in and pushing is just Black, equality, but that's not necessarily grounded in the law, statutes, and commandments. That's based on what's going on in the world. And
for
so
those of those out there who might not know the commandments, give us like three commandments or two.
Okay, are you speaking as far as like just us as a people in general, or just three?
I think it's like more. Is it more than 10 commandments, right? It's more than 10. But
technically the whole Bible is full of laws, statutes, commandments. But
yeah,
my argument is it's that they're grounded, they're based on what, like my son, his movement isn't based on law, statutes, commandments. It's based on just Black life as far as a carnal being. And I think that's why a lot of these people, are led left, because what we're grounded in, what we're trying to walk in is the truth. What they're trying to walk in is based on the worldly truth. And so that's two different things. And so we're going to see things differently than what they see it, because what we may view as, truth or equality may not be what they view it as. and what we see as, what I think I already said, the truth is not what they're going to see it as, because our truth sometimes is blatant, sometimes it's raw, sometimes it might hurt. The worldly truth is always dialed down, and it's always, softened. The blow is never as harsh because we want to take everyone's feelings into consideration. Whereas with the truth, there is no feelings involved. It's like you either take this truth or you don't.
Leave it alone. Yeah.
And so, exactly. So that's why I think the movements, though they may seem like they're grounded in a great manner for our people, it's not always the right movement for us to be a part of.
Yeah.
I heard about that thing with the office. I didn't know it was the receptionist. I really didn't see too much in it. I knew there was some sort of racism with the office, but I didn't look into it. But overall, it's the same with everything. Like I said, some musicians that I like and I appreciate, I feel the same as Jamal. We have to weigh it accordingly based on the specifics. But whatever it is, I'm not looking for anybody to tell me anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll listen to something that you may have to say or whatever, but I don't need you to weigh in on life experiences that have continued to occur with melanated people, which I don't know, like you said, sometimes it's because of their celebrity, but I don't know, a lot of people maybe don't. Hey girl.
Well, I know Charlotte touched on it earlier when she mentioned, specifically white celebrities using their celebrity to try to push things or like be a part of the Black movement.
Yeah.
To kind of touch on that, I think it's, especially now in this climate, it is hard to believe if they're actually being genuine, because you always think there's an ulterior motive.
Likes,
is it for money? Is it for money? Is it just to get votes? Is it just because they want brownie points? Is it because they have a past that was exposed and now they're trying to cover it up with so there's always that can we believe them? Can we take them for what it is or not? So I think for instance Eminem, the only thing that I could think of, as far as myself, that I am aware of in his past is that he made that one song about an ex-girlfriend that he liked that did him dirty and called her out her name. And after that, he even admitted, like, yeah, I let my anger get in the way, and I shouldn't have said it, but I did. I'm sorry. But he's surrounded by our people, like all day, every day. Like that's who he's, engulfed by. That's who he loves. That's who, like the culture itself, obviously the hip hop culture. That's what he's, been brought up in. And so you see everybody that's riding for him is our people. But it's also our people who are also going against him, saying, "Oh, you're just using your celebrity fame and your friends to try to like get us to tone down the fact that you said that." I don't know. There's a time where I believe, like, maybe it's true. There's a time that I believe everybody makes a mistake. Even us as a people hurt our own people. So what's the difference? Like it, so when are we gonna either accept his apology or just completely do away with him? Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't have it both ways. Like, so at that point, that's as an individual, you discern whether you're okay with him making that mistake and you keep pushing, or you just say, "Nah, I'm cool," because you feel like, hey, if he said it that one time, I'm sure he'll say it again.
I've seen with the Black Lives Matter movement, there's been a lot of sayings that white silence is violence, and people are trying to galvanize white people to try to speak up on our behalf because they feel like they're part of the hegemony, they can speak and things happen. What do y'all think about that? Like, do you feel like we have to rely upon them to get anything done?
No, I think they shouldn't even say
that.
that.
It's genuine. I think only if it's genuine. I think only if it's genuine, because I look at it from this standpoint though. We get upset because we always say, the only time things are going to change is if white people stand up and say something, because it's, the majority white doing stuff to our people, right? So it takes white people having to say something to other white people to let them know, like, yo, this is wrong. We're not cool with this. But then in that same token, we're saying we don't want y'all talking for us. So which one is it? Like, what?
They know what they need to do. This is why I have a weird feeling about this, because it's like, yes, I guess your words could be helpful, but also as a collective, the majority of y'all know what y'all are doing. I'm not about to let y'all get off with y'all saying, oh, I didn't realize what, like,
it's
y'all
like
know.
that whole no cop is a good cop. It's like that.
Yeah.
Like,
because, you know what's been going on, and you've been turning a blind eye to it. So
I'm not falling for it. So you can choose to not say anything, but definitely don't let people, like, this is what got me last year when everyone was posting little black squares on Instagram. I'm like, what is this? Like, y'all don't care about this like this. Y'all are doing this so your black followers will not look at you and be like, oh, you didn't post a square. Like, what are you really doing though? For the white celebrities that want to be allies and help, where are the reparations? Y'all have all the millions. Why are you not helping to actually build the community? You're offering your hashtag Black Lives Matter. The hashtag is not paying for anything. So what are you really going to do? The people in Tulsa still don't have any money. They gave the a pair of Jordans and thought that was going to erase everything. Jordans?
That was ridiculous.
which is a little bit racist if you think about it, because
it's,
think
it's more than racist. I don't know who let her put those on.
That's what y'all gave her to wear on the anniversary.
Who let her do that?
Like, I'm over y'all. So that's what I'm saying.
A lot of us don't even rock J's like that, so it wouldn't mean anything to us,
Why did y'all give that to her? Like, that was gonna fix what happened. Like, what about all the families who are owed millions of dollars?
Yeah,
where is that?
President Joe Biden says we're going to work on acknowledging.
And you know what? That had me too. And I saw that he was acknowledging it. Like, we don't need it's been acknowledged by everybody for the last 100 years. It's been acknowledged. Where's the action though?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I think that's
get me started on him. He's been late.
You gotta pay attention to the words.
Because they don't
pay attention to the words, like they said acknowledge, they did. So at the end of the day, they're gonna do. Like, well, we did acknowledge it.
Exactly.
We did acknowledge it. Yeah.
That's all they're gonna do.
What is the press to get things done? How do we move forward?
Honestly, it's with our, like the platform we on now. We use our platform to educate, and not only to educate, but we have to make sure that the people that we're educating are actually taking the next step to educate others and or to do something about it. But I think it just comes down to us doing it for self.
Yeah.
Because honestly, me personally, being a mom to Black children, I've experienced more racism from Blacks towards my kids than even my own Mexican side or whites, to be honest.
I can see that. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, in what way, if you don't mind asking?
There was one instant when my son, my oldest, I was taking him to school. I was at a I was parked at putting gas in the morning. And this older lady, this Black lady, she just, my son was waving good morning to her out the back of the car window. And she just looked and she just looked at me and she said, "You're such a disgrace." She's like, "Why didn't you just stick to your own?" Oh. And she just looked at my son and said the same thing again. And of course, I don't think since, now it's been toned down a bit more, but it was really apparent when my kids were little.
Wow. But and that's the part that's the ignorant part about it. She not realize we're all y'all's children.
And so,
Exactly.
You don't even realize you're my sister, period. Like, and they don't get that. And I don't know why they don't, why that doesn't
But when we
connect.
go, even on if they're not in that type of mindset, like our people go through the same things, whether you believe that we're, brothers and sisters or not. Like, we get it just the way, Blacks do in America. And then my kids, they get a double whammy. They get it from both sides. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Janelle knows, we have to tell our kids certain ways to act in public and stuff. And, he's real adamant on teaching
Exactly.
the boys how to act and how to be, show that they're Black and that that's not going to change. And there's nothing wrong with that. And they shouldn't back down from it just because other people are intimidated by it.
Yeah, we're also the walk in peace. Like everybody on this earth gotta get walk in peace and live in peace. And just, trying to isolate other people, that's not right.
Yeah.
Can I add in to? I think today it was. I think kind of piggybacking off of Jamel. Today, a young lady was fired because and this was at a pub, like a pub somewhere in a city, a rural city, and it was covered that she got fired for associating herself as light skinned. She got fired for associating herself as light skinned. A customer complained her being white, and she said she felt some type of way. And the female who associated herself as light skinned was fired. It was then later covered by ABC. They went on to do a march, and a white lady spoke in front. And this is what I kind of do like what she said a little bit. She was like, we need to, and she said white people, we need to educate ourselves on being cultured, on knowing different biases on language. We even need to educate ourselves on ebonics and so forth. I was like, just not bad. Just not bad.
I think that was that was an all out. That was just an all out ignorant moment because that was just a woman who she literally all she wanted to do. She just was feeling bad about herself that day and just decided to take it out on somebody else.
You
Like,
saw it?
that's all
Did
it
you
was.
see that?
Because there's no, I didn't. I'm just going based on what the story is because there's no way that somebody calling themselves light skin is a big deal. Like,
she gets
it doesn't make sense.
Especially to a white woman. Like, why would that even matter to you?
Exactly.
Relate to you at all.
Yeah,
You don't even know what that means.
It's because her husband cheated on her with.
Oh no.
The worst part
with a light skin. That's what it is.
She got left for a light skin.
How did they justify firing her?
Yeah, I was trying to understand.
All right, how they do it was they took the law that was actually supposed to protect minorities and flipped it. Basically, the law in their contract stated that we do not condone of racist slurs, language, and so forth. So
which still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense because that wasn't a racial slur, and it wasn't towards anybody. It was in regards to herself, though.
She should absolutely I would have taken that higher up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, what type of job was that? Because
this was at a pub.
Irish that pub. Is right. Yeah.
It was called Green something. I don't remember the city. I forget who it was covered by, but
Google.
It was picked up by ABC though. That's who the story was picked up by.
I'm going to assume it's an Irish pub.
Well, yeah, it's a pub. It's going to be Irish.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
As an aside, Jamel, can we talk about your shirt? Because like everybody I see does not know that that's a word. Like online, I don't understand. Oh my god!
I just got it. I just got it.
You can actually thank Vanessa for that one, because I
I
do
got it for him.
I
He
always
always
correct
corrects
people. You know,
everything.
I'm and so like she saw it.
Everything.
Oh my goodness.
And I
That's
saw
funny.
it, and me and the boys were like, "Oh, that's perfect for Dad. Let's get it." And so it was perfect.
Y'all think social media is destroying the English language?
Absolutely.
Anytime my Twitter account goes
Social
over, the
media,
first thing I do is go
Sadly,
back
yeah.
to cancel that your right to you are and to when you
Yeah.
need characters.
Social media and the whole the shortening, the shorthand writing acronyms,
BRB.
that's killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The best.
yeah, for sure.
It was in
Yeah.
Detroit.
What are y'all thoughts on Colin Kaepernick, for instance? Celebrities.
Ooh.
Okay,
Shout
so
out.
I will say for the Kaepernick situation, I'm okay with it, for the simple fact that he actually was trying to bring awareness to it, and the way that he did it obviously brought awareness to it, to the point where, you know, white America was upset because it was
Oh, they were
disrespecting
pissed.
what they found important, what
They were pissed.
they deem important. And so that, to me, that's how you know he was successful in creating that attention and creating that awareness, because it made the people that you were trying to get it out to, it made them see you, and it made it important, because now all of a sudden they're upset and they're trying to flip the script and say,
Mhm.
no, you're disrespecting us. You're saying we're disrespecting you guys, but no, you're disrespecting us. And it had nothing to do with
What's crazy is that
disrespecting
a lot of people
armed
in the
services or
service
anything like that.
didn't even care. A lot of people in the service
Yeah.
said that's exactly what we fight for. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know why
Exactly.
white Americans
Exactly.
are disrespected by that.
Well, I know this one lady I work with, she was super pissed after the incident. And the next morning at work, I mean, me being the only person of any kind of color in the office, I was just sitting there listening, like, okay, let me hear what you got to say. She was pissed, and she said, how dare him say that when he doesn't even know what it's like to be Black, because he was raised by white parents. And I'm like, at the end of the
I
day,
didn't know he was Black until he
You gotta
said
walk around every day with your skin color.
Exactly.
enough.
and at the end of the day, what does it matter if he was raised by white parents? He's still seen as a Black man.
Yep.
I
So
never even knew Kaepernick
Exactly.
was Black, to be honest with you.
that just made me see that lady
Iranian
in
or
a whole different light.
That's what I have questions about the whole white ally thing, because you have people like that feel like, oh, if you're not Black, you can't speak on the issue anyway. So it's like
what?
What?
And it wasn't even that. Like, it's just because he was adopted, apparently. I'm not
Slap
sure.
me in the face.
He was raised by white parents. So what does he know about being Black? Like, what the hell do you know about being Black?
Exactly.
Like, so
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
being here from Texas, of course, it was just astonishing.
What
to me.
everybody also went crazy about was the fact that two things. One, they brought in Tim Tebow, recruited him. I think he got traded to some team. I don't know. I don't keep up with NFL like that, but he was picked up. Somebody who retired and literally had no true NFL career. Picked up, and then what's even more like appalling is that they're going to suspend, not revoke, not discontinue, not ban it, just suspend the fact that they label Black athletes. They label Black athletes as this term of basically a lower IQ naturally after having a concussion.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that today, actually.
And I didn't even know that was a thing. To even like, they're not even like banning it. They're not even like making it a law to where they can't do it. They're just discontinuing it. They're not practicing it right now.
Should have never.
You gotta think that the athletes, Black athletes, are graded differently. So Black athletes are graded on our athletic ability. White athletes are graded on their IQ. So that's why every time you see a player get drafted, they always talk about how athletic and how strong the black athlete is, but they always talk about the high IQ of the white athlete.
Yeah.
So they look at us different. We're not even looked at as to be the same, you know, mentally. You know what I'm saying? We're looked at as
it is. I was gonna say,
and that's all it is. So we're looked at, you know,
that's like, what they're doing.
The auction. Exactly. So that's the only difference, and that's why when that happens, you know, like you see a lot of these, like Tim Tebow, he just got picked up by another team. Not only did he get picked up by another team, but he's also picked up to play a position he never played before to begin with. Not only did he get an opportunity, not only did he get another opportunity years after, you know, being let go from the NFL, but he got an opportunity to play in a position that he was never formally taught to play. So they're like, how did he get another opportunity, but Kaepernick doesn't?
Yeah.
Shout out to Marshawn Lynch for always holding it down and keeping our chicken right.
That brings up all this stuff. Kind of brings up another point. Like I saw this, I don't know if it was a commercial or if it was like a video of like Shaquille O'Neal, I think it was Charles Barkley and President Barack Obama now, where they were talking about how people need to go out and get vaccinated. And I don't know which person brought it up, but they were saying, you know, I know people think about the Tuskegee experiment, but like that was in the past, like this over, like just move on. Like we, you know, basically like move on. That's So did anybody have a collective talk about moving past all of the harm that has been done to our people, you know?
No.
They didn't. They were speaking for our community is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so, especially when you got these people at the top pushing these agendas out. I'm like,
they acknowledged it though, right?
Right. Thanks.
Right. Thanks for the acknowledgement. But like literally, even them three sitting up there at the top, what are y'all doing for the Black community?
It was incredibly insensitive to do it. You know, now all of a sudden, I couldn't because of white people. Yeah, stop it, bro.
Oh, right.
Like yeah, Charlotte, you raised a valid point. Who was on the committee that sat down and was like, all right, all these 400 years, forget about it. We're in the 21st century. Like no one had that meeting.
Whoever they bought off.
You know who helped with that?
And another thing too, like we can't just that we're still feeling the repercussions of all of that today. It'd be one thing if we weren't feeling the effects of all that has taken place in our history, but since we're still affected by it, I think it's safe to say we can't move past it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, absolutely. The only thing they did was they just cloaked it in a different garment. So it's the same thing. It's just
the same thing.
It's just done differently.
15 minutes on TV. And then you can move past this for another, 5-10 years. There you go.
Yeah. Everybody like to talk about like how like Black trauma we need to heal. Granted, we do. But what about other people out there who also need to heal? Like a couple white people who need to heal. It's some Jews who need to heal. As far as like the mental on how they structure the system or how they go about bias in general, like especially with tech, like tech is so biased. It's so biased in facial recognition, it's biased in wording recognition.
AI
it's so biased.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
just
ingrained.
Look at the way that they name themselves, Americans. But like you or I, we're Mexican American, Black American, this American. Like we're not even,
qualified. We're qualifiers.
American isn't even American. Like
American is even for the whites, to be honest. Let's be real.
How did y'all even get the title?
It was really America's.
Oh, okay.
America's.
Plus, y'all paid everybody else.
Like, how are you American? How are you called American?
Why do we have a subcategory and the whites have? Oh, we're American. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? How I'm explaining it?
Yeah. Definitely.
That's because race, ethnicity, all that stuff is a sham they came up with.
Because in the system, they label me as white. And I get so upset every time they do that. So upset.
They put me as black and I put as other. I'm like, come on, man. They put my
Well, you gotta
grandma who's
understand,
dying.
like the reason why
Crazy.
the reason why they add Hispanics as white is because technically, when you look at the numbers, it makes them seem like they're the superior, like there's the majority.
Yep, there we go.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
So when you start to look at it from a census standpoint, you start to look at the numbers of the people in America. Technically, when you look at the numbers have been forged to make you think that white people, that's this many white people in.
There was somebody, pointing that out with the last census, and I think it was specifically like Pacific Islanders or something. They were labeling them as white, or like Muslims, like Arabs and stuff. They were labeling them as white, and they're like, no, because they were putting them all as white. And I think actually here in Texas, there was one woman that was trying to make a petition or something to get the Pacific Islander or something on the census, because there was no category.
I remember this.
So they automatically lumped them in as white. So any resources that they needed specifically, whether it's like, in the Black community, sickle cell is really prevalent, stuff like that that's prevalent to their demographic, they wouldn't be able to get it because they're not even recognized in the census. Yeah. So
they are so capped because they're the ones that created all the divisions anyway. So when it's time to actually categorize them, they're not telling the truth. Y'all the ones that separated it anyway.
Yeah.
Like
or how
my
about back when?
In the school system, they label my kids as white because of me, and I'm like, I'm not even white.
They're capped. They're so capped. I cannot wait until we get out of here. They are so capped.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is
Or did y'all hear about with the
again,
reparations?
it's all about.
I heard about Japan having land and houses for less than $500.
I mean, I've been telling Jamel that I've been looking at Japan for a minute. So.
You need to look
do share.
Akon City.
You look nice, right?
I'm serious. Akon City.
I've been looking into Africa. I've been looking into Africa for real.
No, our time is coming. The Most High is moving and shaking. All this stuff that's going on down here.
I feel it. We are not in this world.
He's creating an excellent plan for his people. Everybody else, y'all be with him. But for God's children, he is creating a plan for us. So all praise to him.
Amen.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I feel like now the race is being manipulated in another way. Like we're not even able to move forward on anything because they have everybody confused and wrapped up in race, when there's bigger topics and agendas that we could be moving forward on. Even like we're talking about reparations. Everybody got reparations but us. Like everybody, they're still getting it.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have reparations. They're not cutting the check. They don't want to cut a check.
Yeah, and here go the thing. I don't.
We have reparations. The funds are
cut
there.
me a deed. Cut me a land lease.
It's because the money is caught in the pipeline right now.
The money is there.
It's like those products.
They got to unclog the pipeline real quick. You know what I mean? It's just taking a minute.
They are liars.
Understand how are all these places writing?
Set up.
How they writing all this stuff for the COVID vaccine? Oh, it's $1 million contest. Really, help me understand. Is the money messed up? It's not. Y'all giving away millions of dollars? Like where we do that at?
We're trillions of dollars in debt, but y'all cutting.
But now y'all got
$1 million. Sending vaccines across the globe, cutting $70 million deals. I thought we were trillions of dollars in debt.
Yeah, I thought it was over. It was over. What are we doing? Yeah.
You got to look at it from, speaking, just kind of doubling down on what Melissa was saying.
Dancing.
Well, you double down on what Melissa was saying. Like they do purposely create other subcategories to keep us distracted. That's what everything is. Yeah. And right now, because they have other things going on, so once we're starting to get close to figuring something out, boom, let's throw in the transgender movement.
On
now
to the
we're
next.
trying to figure that out. Okay, the transgender movement now is, okay, how do we associate with you? What do we call you? What, and things like that. And so now we're trying to figure something else out because it's distracting us from what we were almost finishing up. So
Yeah, so
they're gonna
much.
keep doing this because
They're
it's gonna
and
keep us away
It's
from
been
figuring
proven to
things
work
out.
in the
you better
past, so
say
why
it.
stop now?
Yeah, they're gonna keep it up. They're gonna keep
Mhm.
doing it.
We not worried about the miscellaneous though. We trying to figure out where's the money.
You're not
We're not worried
gonna
about that.
I just need the
We're trying to
title.
figure out where's the money.
Just
That's
give
what
me
I'm
the
trying to figure
title because I want the land. Like there's all this
Yeah.
other stuff. The money.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in land.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
what it comes down
Yeah.
to. Our
Yeah.
dollar is diminished every day, every
Yeah,
second.
every
It's diminishing every day.
Mhm.
especially with all this crypto
Yep.
stuff going on. Like listen, it's only a matter of time before the whole market just
Speaking of which, I just made my
Yeah.
first EFT today. Yeah,
You
I
made
have
one?
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Nice.
I'm about to mess with
Nice.
you. I want to invest
I'm
or
sitting here
buy.
back and forth on it now because I tried to use. I'm going to use a added gift to go on it, and I was trying to find a place to store it just because I'm gonna do an audio.
I saw a class on it through this guy called Tall Guy Ty. Did you go through a class or?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you technologist, it's not really nothing. And this one is not so much. And I'm not. I don't know. I'm getting there. You know what I'm saying? Because see, I was early on crypto, but then what had happened was I liquidated my paper because I had to. I needed it, and
It happened. It happened.
and that was right before the blow up. You dig what I'm saying? Like literally, I'm just sitting there like you
Got a hold. Got a hold.
You got a hodl, baby. You got a hodl. I know it. I just
Hodl.
I didn't have the. I was in a bad situation. I didn't have the option.
That's okay.
Get
It
that
happened.
bread. And you know that's what it was for. But that's what I was doing. I was team hodl when I was. I quit. I put paper in it. And yeah, man. Right before the boom. So now I'm looking at some privacy coins, and you know I'm little by little now that I got my paper.
You may have to give us some free game on that.
yeah, that could be a conversation.
Don't fall off. That's
Don't
fall off and have to sell. That's the problem.